Grace and peace be with you first and foremost. I pray that each of you will have a wonderful and meaningful Thanksgiving, whatever you choose to do. Most of all, I pray that on Thanksgiving Day, you take a moment to be thankful. I'm reminded the story about a man by the name of Jack Hinton, who was a missionary, and he went to the island of Tobago to do a short-term missionary work. And Hinton was leading worship at this particular um, on this particular missionary trip, and he was leading the song service, and therefore it was a great time they were having. And so, as he was ending the song service, he said to the group, after singing for about 25, 30 minutes, there was time for one more song to be sung. And there was a lady who raised her hand up, and she had her hand, and she said, "I want you to sing Count Your Blessings." Well, this lady was quite interesting because the whole time during the service, the whole time she had her back turned to them. And he thought that was interesting because she was sitting in the back and she kept her back turned to him the whole time of the service. And when it was time to have one more song, this woman raised her hand and said, "Can we sing Count Your Blessings?" And when she raised her hand, she still had her back turned. He could not hear her, so he asked her, "I can't hear you." So that's when she turned around. And he says when she turned around, he understood why she kept her back to them. Because she was a leper, and leper had eaten her face up. Leprosy had eaten her eyeballs out, her nose was partially gone, her mouth was distorted, her ears were almost off. Leprosy had done a job on her body. Leprosy had even taken off part of her fingers. And yet, he says, when he saw her face and heard her say, "Count your blessing," he lost it. He said he stepped back from the mic and had a moment. And he said to himself he could never sing Count Your Blessings in the same way again. He said, because here's a woman who's lost most of her face and part of her hand. And yet she has the strength and the faith to sing Count Your Blessings. May I remind you that when you gather on Thanksgiving Day, whether you are with others or by yourself, things may not be perfect in your life. You may have some trials and some tribulations. You may have some interruptions and some hiccups. But I want you to think about on Thanksgiving Day, count your blessings and count them one by one and see what the Lord has done. Happy Thanksgiving to each of you. But remember, count your blessings, not your burdens. Well, this coming Sunday is the beginning of Advent. And in the season of Advent, we are having what I am calling our thematic preaching season. And the emphasis on our Advent season is living in the expectancy. Each Sunday morning, the sermon will be about living in the expectancy, because Advent is really the season of expectancy. So I invite you to come and worship with us each Sunday during the season of Advent and listen to the Word of God as we preach about living in the expectancy. I pray that you will join us at 11 o'clock here at our church each Sunday morning here at Second Baptist. Join us at 9:30 as well for our Sunday school time. We would love to have you as our special guest to be a part of our worship. Peace and blessings be with you as I